What's good, y'all? This video was inspired by a couple of people from my Discord chat, Slime and Trilla. Shout out to y'all. If you're interested in joining the Discord chat, the link is down there in the description. Right now, it's still pretty bare bones, but as more people start to grow and interact with one another, we'll see what we'll start incorporating into it. But nevertheless, let's get into the subject. So I remember when I started first noticing a whole bunch of repeating numbers over and over and over. For me personally, my numbers were 22, 11, and 9/11, and I'll talk about those in a little bit. You know, I kept seeing those over and over and over. And the funny thing is, in our current society, we're like we've been programmed to be left brain, which is like the super logical side of the brain. I think I got that right. But like left side logical, LL. Okay, cool. It's like, we're like the logical side where everything needs to be proven by science. Everything needs to be able to be measured. Everything needs to be documented. There needs to be a graph. There needs to be a book about it. You know what I'm saying? And like when you start to see these numbers, when you see them, you just automatically cast them off, as most people do, as, oh man, I must be going crazy because I keep seeing these numbers. Why are you going crazy? You're ignoring the messages that are coming down to you from the higher dimensions. You know what I mean? And I had to go through the same transitionary period as well. But when I just gave up the logical side, I was like, wait a minute. Like, I keep seeing this over and over. Maybe I should just look into this, because what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to find out it was absolutely nothing. So why not just Google it? Now, this isn't going to be a video that says, what happens when you see 333, 777, 999? You know, I'm sure you've already Googled. If you're watching this video, you already Googled it. But there is a reason why people are starting to see more of these repeating numbers. You know, when I started to notice the numbers, it's because I had truly began like the rocket ship leg of my spiritual journey. Right? I was starting to like get into shamanism. I was starting to get into meditation. I was learning about the angels, fairies. I was trying to find my way in the spiritual world, but nevertheless, I was paying attention to very high vibrational content. So that just means my vibration was rising, as some of y'all's. The reason why more and more and more people are starting to notice all these numbers and these synchronicities, it doesn't have to be 333s. You can see 64, 64, 79, 79, whatever. It could be 364, you know, whatever number that you keep seeing, there's a message behind it. And one thing that you have to do is, sure, the Googling helps you and this type of stuff, seeing YouTube videos, but you need to make sure that when you Google these numbers, the message resonates with you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it could be above your pay grade, and it's evolving in front of you, and you'll be like, oh, this means that great wealth is coming my way. Like, I think it was like 88, 888, whatever. That usually means wealth is on the way. But then like it'd be like 6 years later, you'd be like, I'm still working at Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you have to like really pay attention to what it is that you're thinking about. What are you talking about? How are you feeling when you see these numbers and stuff like that? And that can give you a better clue at understanding what message that is trying to be sent to you. But I completely forgot my original point. People are starting to see these numbers right now because the vibration of the planet itself is literally rising right now, with all the stuff that's going on with the sun and all the vibrations rising on the earth, or a Kai or Gaia, whatever words you choose to use. It's like that's literally raising the vibration of all the inhabitants on it, right? So as your consciousness rises, you're going to stop discounting everything as a coincidence. How many times can you see a coincidence? How many coincidences do you need before it's a scientific fact? Right? Oh, it's just a coincidence that every day at 2:00, this bird shows up on my porch. Every day at 2:00, it shows up. Oh, coincidence. Oh, it's a coincidence. Up a coincidence. How many times is a coincidence before you begin to expect it? And you start to wonder, why does this bird keep showing up here every day at 2 p.m.? I don't get it. And you start to look into it. You know what I mean? That's what's happening with the world right now. Now, as I said, I connect with 22. Now, I don't know all the numbers and like if they all have patterns and whatever, or like their own like individual identities. But for me, I know that the number 22 especially means that, or 22 is the master builder number. That pretty much means things are in the works. That's just how I interpret it. Like things are in the works. Your manifestations are coming to fruition, all that type of stuff. This is a reminder for you to remember to create, all that type of stuff. Sometimes they're reminders, sometimes they're messages, sometimes they're warnings. It is what it is. You have to kind of play with it and kind of make it your own. This is your world. This is your experience. So whatever it means to you might be something different to somebody else. Every time you see 333, something good happens to you. Every time someone else sees 333, something bad bad's about to happen to them. Bad, relatively speaking. It's like, that's the type of stuff. But 22 for me is the master builder number. And I resonate with that so strongly because for me, I learned about 22 when I just stepped into my divinity. When I was just starting to step into the fact that like, does it not say in your law that ye are God's sons of the Most High? That's literally in the Bible. It says it right there. But they don't want you knowing that. They don't want you focused on that. Oh, you can't say you're God's. Oh, okay. Well, it's in your book, so whatever. But then it's just like, even with the way my life was feeling, it just felt so empty. But when I started to have these little manifestations, and then I start to hear about divinity, and we are God's here to create our own lives. We are all capital C creators of our own individual experiences. So when I started to learn about manifestation, I'm having little successful manifestations here and there. And then I see this number. I'm like, that's why I kept seeing it. And it just made sense to me. But for some of y'all, you'll see 22 and that same message won't make sense to you. There's another thing that I was seeing, like, especially when I started, I was like desperate when I was in the very beginning stages. I always say people didn't get into their spiritual stuff, their spiritual journey, because everything in their life was going good. You know what I mean? So I kept seeing 1111 and 911. So 1111 for me is just like kind of like the portal is being opened. Sometimes hold on, let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Because, okay, so 1111, right? Mad simple. That just looks like that almost looks like a portal is being opened, as in something's going in. Or something's going out, something's coming in. I see them like almost like pathways and stuff like that. But then the funny thing is with these numbers, you might even see them for me, it's like I started to go so crazy with the numbers. I used to see them in light posts. They were almost like lined up, like when they're on a certain angle, they'd be like two that are like really close, and then they'd be like 1-1. Like I would just see 11-11, or like the little designs on like door frames and stuff like that. I would see 11 everywhere, like 11 as like the door frame, but then the other side 11. You see what I'm saying? And when you start to access that right side of your brain, you start to see this a lot more, and you don't call yourself as crazy. You just see the world in a different way. It's like, what was my other one? 911. For me, 911 was a very angelic number for me. That just reminded me that my guardian angels were around me, because, and especially that made sense when I learned that, because there's like this little angel figurine thing that my mom had got me. And don't get me wrong, when I first got it, I thought it was stupid. But like I said, when I lived back in North Carolina, I was going through it. I called myself the weekend alcoholic. Like I didn't remember my weekends half the time because I would just drink myself into a coma, get drunk, play video games, pass out, go throw up, rinse and repeat. That was my cycle, because I had so much stuff on my mind, so much depression, so much anxiety, so much all this type of stuff. So it got to the point that I broke, and I just said, man, screw it, man. Screw it. I'm gonna go grab this thing and say, I don't trust this God guy right now. I don't know about you. You've been watching me suffer and you ain't done shit to help me. So I was like, my angels, I always feel like y'all are there. So I went into the drawer. I pulled the thing out of the little plastic that I was in, and I was like, all right. And I started to almost use that as a microphone to pray to the angels, like, yo, help me, help me, help me. And when I started to do this, and I've shared this before, but just to catch everybody up, when I started talking to the angels, it's like it felt like they were so close. Like it literally felt like their face was overlapping with mine. Every time I talked about the angels, like the hairs on my arm would stand up because I felt somebody in the room. And that just kind of was like, whoa, what's going on here? And then like I was like, yo, angels, can y'all show me y'all are with me today? Can y'all just show me? And then that's when I started seeing the 911s everywhere. 911, 911, 911, 911, 911. And so then when I looked up what 911 was, when I Googled it, once again, y'all might get different results, but for me, that just showed that your guardians are around you. Your angels are here. They're listening to you and all that type of stuff. And I remember I cried that day. I cried. Like I was like, yo, like that beautiful cry though. I was like, I think I'll be okay. I got help now. You know what I mean? So like I say, pay attention to what's going on in your life. But then also too, if you want to see more repeating numbers, if you want to be more conscious of it, step into your divinity. I already quoted a whole Bible verse that tells you we're already gods. Even Jesus himself said, like, and once again, I'm paraphrasing, but Jesus himself said, like, yo, I'm not doing this. You're thinking me, like, oh, me, Jesus, the man in front of you. No, I go within and I'm talking to God. I'm talking to the Father within me. And it's through him. That's where they say through God, all things are possible. That's what Jesus said. That's why I always get confused when people are worshiping Jesus when he himself said, call not the works that I do good. AKA, hey, yo, this ain't nothing special. Like, you can do it too. The works that I do and greater, ye shall do also. Why do people ignore all these types of things? But anyway, it's like when you are rising your consciousness, when you are rising in your frequency, you are now going to gain access to higher levels of information. If you're 1 foot tall, can you reach on top? Can you reach the cabinet? No. If you're 2 feet tall, can you reach it? If you're 3, 4, 5, can you reach it? No. But when you reach the higher level of, 6 feet tall, you can now reach the cabinet. I know you can reach it earlier, but you know what I'm saying. Y'all catch my drift. Like in the video game, you cannot use this sword until you are level 10. Okay, well, until you get to level 10, you're going to have to play with the little wood sword. Then you can get the iron sword. You know what I'm saying? It's levels to this, quite literally. And that's what's going on with the planet. The planet itself is rising. As I've already stated, I'm just repeating it. The planet itself vibration is rising. The frequency of the planet is rising. You can already do this. All you got to do is tap in. You have to see things as a completed thing first in your mind, and then they will precipitate into your physical reality. So if you want to start seeing these numbers, start meditating on them. Start telling yourself right now, I see 333 a lot. Force it at first. Then it becomes muscle. And don't say force it like straining 3. No. I'm just saying like manifest it. Bring it into your world. Prove it. Prove it. Prove that you're not crazy. I want to see 333. I now see 333 in my world. I see 333 everywhere. And I'm not saying open your eyes and go looking for it. You know what I'm saying? Just, hey, 333 is going to make its way into my world. Then watch what happens. Then you might not even get 333. You might just get the right messages. So the right numbers that I need to see will make themselves known to me. The bars. I'm a rapper in my free time, but I'm not a rapper. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, I think that should get y'all started. Once again, to summarize, the planet is rising. The consciousness is rising. Your level is rising. That is giving you access to higher levels of information. This information come in the form of numbers. These numbers carry their own frequency with them. That is why you are perceiving them. When you see a number, there are some things that you're just going to get very comfortable with, and you're going to know what that means instantly. Make it your own. Make sure it makes sense to you. When you Google it, when you watch YouTube videos of people talking about, this is what you mean. This is what it means when you see 444. Then make sure that resonates with you. Because sometimes, like even with me, I've seen numbers. I'm like, I ain't really feeling that, because you know the truth. All right. Make sure like you pay attention to your thoughts. And then when you see it again, like, dang, what was I just thinking about? How am I overall feeling? Once again, you have to play with it a little bit. Once again, it's a new game. It's kind of like riding a bike. At first, you don't get it right at first. You might fall. You might have to balance yourself. But once you get calibrated, everything is going to start to make more sense. Remember, I almost forgot about this. Remember, too, that as you are rising, this next sentence isn't going to creep you out as much. But numbers are alive. Numbers are alive. You shouldn't be only paying attention to numbers when it has to do with your bank account. It's like, it's literally called, when it comes to money, it's literally called economics. What does eco mean? Environment. So the numbers, and then they're moving, they're going up and down. When you look at a stock chart, it almost looks like, not like a heartbeat meter, like per se, like it always like balances back out, but it has its ups and downs. It's doing what it has to do. It's kind of like an EKG or like a brainwave meter. The numbers are alive and they're flowing in. They have their own energy. So when you are connected to like-minded people, you're also connecting to like-minded numbers that are matching your frequency, people that are matching your frequency and vibration. It's the same thing. Numbers are very important. Like you can shatter glass by playing the perfect frequency with it. It's like you play the frequency, it matches, it resonates with it, and then boom, it shatters without you even having to lay a hand on it. The Tibetan monks, they play like the little horn things, and there's just like videos or like pictures or documentation of them splitting rocks because they are playing a certain frequency from that big old horn thing. There's credences that say like people like the ancient Egyptians, whoever built the pyramids, aliens, Egyptians, whatever, they use sound to build these perfect things. You know what I'm saying? Nature is full of numbers. Everything is numbers. They like people say we're in the matrix. It's like, isn't the matrix just a whole bunch of scrolling characters, numbers and shapes and stuff? Cool. Once you start to see the numbers, you're starting to see through the matrix. That's like one of the first steps of seeing behind the veil. You know, it's kind of wild. I still underestimate myself. When I say I know absolutely nothing about this, all this stuff comes out of my mouth. And never underestimate yourself. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the matter. Feel free to let me know if I helped you out. Feel free to, fill in the blanks, add your own comments if you agree, disagree, whatever. Till next one, y'all. Peace.